Jason&Jabari.
What's up, guys? This is Jason from Jason and Jabari Gaming, and today we have Alliance Wars 5 and 6. Both of them will be the number 1 alliance versus the number 2 alliance. So in this instance, we are the number 2 alliance in the world, and Nefty is number 1. So this is our first war with number 1 versus number 2. We know going into this is going to be a very tough war. I was asked to bring in Kang, Apocalypse, and Nightcrawler. I don't have very many fights this war. It just kind of worked out that way. So this is going to be a short war, and then I have a longer war for the next one. But they're both in this video, so stick around. Okay, I'm just kind of moving forward here. I wasn't assigned, like I said, very many fights. I think I have 2 fights in this war, but every fight counts. These were very close wars. We knew they would be, and we need to do everything we can to not die. All right, so my first fight here is this rank 3 Jabari Panther on node or path 7. So basically, if she gains a debuff every X amount of seconds, and she can I guess shrug them, and then she'll become unblockable. So what I'm going to try and do now at this point is, I can't parry because she has like a cleanse mechanic, so I was told don't parry. So I'm just going to block bait here, and I'm going to try to hit into her block. Nightcrawler is X Magica, so once we get 3 of those prowess, then her ability to neutralize and shut things off, or not neutralize, excuse me, to cleanse and stuff like that should be shut off. There I couldn't move, so I just kind of did an attack into the air. That happens again, by the way. But yeah, so far so good. I'm trying to actually parry her special 1 unsuccessfully because I don't really know the timing. So I'm just kind of experimenting with it. But as you can see, all the debuffs on her, she's not getting rid of them. So we go for a special 1. We got a nice crit there. She's down to 27% of her health. I'm going to throw my striker into another combo to finish her off. So very simple fight for my rank 3 Nightcrawler. Very happy with that. Moving on to my last fight for this war, we have a rank 3 Korg. The last Korg that I fought on this node was like a couple wars ago. He was Sig 80. And I put on Resonate. This time I didn't bother to put on Resonate, but I am going to throw on all my mutant power back boost. The reason why I didn't throw on Resonate is because I actually ascended my Apocalypse. So this is the first time my Apocalypse is ascended. So essentially, I didn't feel I needed the extra debuff to shut down the healing. I already knew how to approach this fight. I was comfortable with doing so, and I think with the extra damage that I'm going to do, it definitely was going to be a waste. So I elected not to do that, but that's the only reason why. I started off with a Power Star 1 here. He cannot shrug Apocalypse debuffs, so I'm going to do 3 hits and back off, kind of like I did the last time. And this time is going to go relatively well, I think. I don't remember this being an issue, really. So we throw off our first special, not too much damage, and then we cycle immediately into the SP1. So now we have all of our debuffs up. I'm trying to bait out his special. I do successfully do that. Now I'm trying to get down the rock stacks. I actually get them down, but once again, our debuffs fall off because I didn't manage them correctly, which is fine. So we're just going to build back up to a SP2. I knock him down just before his Thorns timer comes back. I dex his special 1. We don't punish. We're just going to do our little 3 hits back off. 3 hits back off. Or actually, we did 2 there. And then we're going to fire off this SP2. This does significantly more damage, which is good. I parry heavy, so now we have all 4 debuffs locked in. That also incentivizes him to throw off his special. I hit him with mine. We do take a little chip damage towards the end there because his animation was just a little too slow. We combo into the striker, and that's game. We did end up winning against Nefty. It was a very, very close war. The final score was 4-5. We had died 4 times. They had died 5, and they actually were beating us on time. Yeah, we had 9,932. They had 9,122. So 9,122 seconds for them, 9,932 seconds for us. So if they didn't die that 1 extra time, then we would have lost on time. So GG's to Nefty. Shout out to the fellas for holding it down. That was an excellent war. And now we're moving on to S versus LVT. At this point, we are number 1. We have just overtaken number 1, and LVT is number 2. So needless to say, we understand that this is going to be another knockdown, drag out fight. We were going to try to do this as mistake free as possible. That's what you always try to do. And this time I'm assigned Nick Fury, Human Touch, and Nightcrawler. I have, I think, 5 fights this war, and I believe 2 minis, if I'm not mistaken. So I do have a healthy amount of fights, I'd like to say, for this war. So they're entrusting me with the task like everyone else. So I think we start off on path 7. Yeah, so we have another Jabari here, and this is Jin's Jabari. And shout out to all the homies in LVT, because I don't want to forget anybody. You guys are awesome. Her Jabari is unduped as well, but it's a rank 2, and I'm not supposed to knock her down for any reason on this fight. So I opted to go for a I think it was an invulnerability boost in case I get tagged here. I cannot throw off a special. The only scenario I throw off a special if I know it kills. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna play it slow and safe. She was very aggressive coming out the gate. I was like, holy crap. So yeah, I thought I got cornered pretty quick. Fortunately for me, we were able to recover, but for a second there, I didn't know what to expect. I switched my stance immediately when I get my combo off. We're going to block bait, but now things are under control. We do have 1 prowess, not ideal, but it doesn't really matter. We're not really going for anything like that anyway. So I try to parry her SP1 here unsuccessfully, but now I'm hitting the block. We're getting 3 prowess, so that's really good. Here I actually could have YOLO'd it, and I didn't. I just started welling into the block to take her out. But yeah, solid fight. It did get a little sketch in the beginning, but we brought it back under control. Next up we have I'm Nuts. That guy's a solid player, as well as Jin. So we're going to be using Human Torch here, and I made a slight error in this fight here, and you'll see what I mean. I'm not going to throw power backs or anything like that. Torch with this pre-fight is more than enough to finish this. We're max boosted anyway, so essentially that would just be overkill, and only for 1 fight. No thanks. All right, so the mistake that I'm talking about that I made here was knocking him down. I forgot that Torch serves as heal reversal, so I shouldn't have knocked him down right there. That was my mistake. I should have just kept it up as I do this time. I don't knock him down, and then he just melts even faster because he's trying to heal and he's reversing. So I should have not knocked him down on that fight with Torch, and he would have melted even faster. But obviously it wasn't costly, but it was a slight mistake. So, you know, things like that can be crucial for time and stuff like that when it comes to speed. And I keep talking about time. I know, well, this is going to come down to time. So I'm trying to like cut out the errors that potentially may cost me seconds. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but at the top, that's a big deal. So next up we have Oak, the boy Oak. You know I love you, brother. I fight his rank 3 unduped void. This is path 4 section 2. I have Nick Fury. There was one time here that I think he almost got the third debuff on me. It's right coming up right here because his timer's getting ready to expire. I get the parry off right in time. Now I have 3. He's unblockable, but when I knock him down with Nick, basically I get rid of every non-damaging debuff. I already knew this was my only fight, so I wasn't preserving my health. I knew I was going to nuke him. I have 5 out of 5 deep wounds, and I'm absolutely going for the nuke. Health does not matter. I still had a second life, and I was only going to hit harder. So I knew the plan, and I executed. Now, this was the scariest fight I've had all war. This is a rank 3 blade. And this is a TJ's blade. And congratulations, first of all. I would love to get a blade as a 7-star, but I knew with his SP2 that was going to be an issue, and I can't not bleed with Nightcrawler, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have to eat it. I know that sounds weird, but yeah, you'll see what I mean. I knew that was going to be a thing. I did unfortunately die to this node when they had a Zemo on it, so this is kind of personal for me that I don't want to die, number 1, ever, and number 2, that I need to prove that I can take nodes like this when the team calls for it. So those are actually mutant power back boosts. It shows skill. That's just a visual bug, but they're actually the mutant power backs, and I actually opt to go for, I believe, a combat regen here. Reason being is because I think, or nope, I lied. I was considering going for a combat regen, just because I knew I was going to take a lot of chip damage, especially with the bubble shield and getting rooted and stuff. So I wanted to keep myself topped off in case I eat a nasty SP2. But then I opted for the SP1, which I'm not real sure why I went with that, because I just can't remember why I did. Maybe it's because if I got rooted, I wanted to get out of the root. It's the only thing I can think of. But anyway, I immediately use it. We had switched our stance. The thing is, and see, there it was again. I tried to swipe and he just stood there. And then I used my special to get out the root. But Blade is tricky because with his special 1, Bubble Shield, if you take those on the block, you're doing Bubble Shield. But if you don't, then you're absolutely going to get him indestructible buffs. But I knew I was going to eat that SP2. I was prepared to eat it. I did eat it. Took a lot of health, but it didn't kill, and then we absolutely dropped him. Sloppy fight, but I knew that's how it had to go in my head, and that's how it went. Super scary. I did talk to my officer Jelly after that, and we agreed that maybe Dusk would be a little safer, but we'll see if I end up taking that with Nightcrawler again. I told him I would, but I did agree that Dust would be safer because she would not eat any of that bleed damage, which is what they kind of are incentivizing you to do. Otherwise, you dex all of that and you give him a ton of indestructible buffs. So yeah, not a good time. Lastly, we have Zemo, my favorite character to fight. We have him on another hazard shift. We had him on another hazard shift the last war, but now we have him on this one, and we got the boy Oak. We have the Odin Shock pre-fight. So yeah, we're just gonna go to town here. We switch our stance as per usual. We hit him with a fat SP1, both of those crit, and we're cooking with gas right now. Okay, he's almost down. I decided to YOLO this fight as well. I'm a very impatient person. I will be patient if necessary, but this fight was not necessary, and he is absolutely dead. Yeah, so that's my war, guys. Really fast fights. Nightcrawler did his thing for me, and we ended up beating LVT. Stupid close war. Shout out to those guys. Love all of them over there. It was 4-4, and we won on time. We had 9,112 seconds. They had 9,281 seconds. So very close war. Very scary close war. And yeah, I'm really proud of the fellas. We actually only had the goal of top 10 masters. I'm not saying we got this thing in the bag, but being here with that goal in mind means, we're doing phenomenal, to say the very least. So half of the season is done. So hopefully you guys will continue liking, subscribing, and sharing around to help us grow. And the second half is on the way. We'll see you then. Peace.